dear?
No, I'm
Yeah, so
getting,
Jill's one.
this is the school information.
Oh,
Let's start the meeting.
okay.
Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Welcome to everyone. Just got a chance to look at the approval. Hello, George. Approval of the bills. Any discussion on the bills? Not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion approved.
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, approval of the August 9th, 2023 meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, mayor's report. As I reported last month, the ARPA funding is just about been used, and Courtney will be filing the final paperwork to close that out. Consolidated funding application, our park grant was submitted, and we're still waiting to see if our application is awarded. We continue to work with the Genesee County Economic Development to explore any possible grants that may be available for our future electric substation upgrades. Hopefully there's something there that we can take big advantage of. And I attended a GoArt grant seminar on September 9th in Oakfield. Preparation for trying to see if we can get some summer concerts in the park for this coming summer. The Tree and Park Committee, we met on Wednesday, September 6th. And speaking of parks, I want to thank the Cummings family and friends for providing the entertainment with a concert in the park. These fine musicians collected $379 in donations that night, and they gave that over to the Friends of the Bergen Parks so that could be used for future park upgrades. So that was very generous of them. So can't thank them enough. As far as the contract language from National Grid for the interconnection agreement, we brought this up at the last meeting, and we still haven't heard anything for a final document for me to even approve. So we're waiting on that. When we do get it, I will look it over carefully, and if it's acceptable, I'll sign off on that interconnection agreement. But again, we're waiting for them. I have a meeting scheduled for myself and Courtney. We're going to meet with Norterra Foods on Wednesday, September 20th, to discuss our substation project and also a lease extension for the Church Street property, which houses our electric department. It's vital that we get this lease extended. Like I said, our electric department sits on that property. So we're going to sit down with them and go over the impact of the substation project to their facility, and also to go over getting a lease extension in place. We have purchased LED speed signs. They've been ordered, and upon delivery they will be installed on Buffalo Road. So we're waiting for those to come in.
Are those similar to what's on Rochester Street?
They're identical to the ones on Rochester Street. And well, I've got this,
So one going each way?
yes, one coming in, down
Church
towards
Farrell's and the other way. Okay.
George is the other, probably around the cemetery area around there,
Good.
And I just wanted to say that we did get a bill. It's in the bills that you've seen for, we got a bill from the Sheriff's Department for $3,341 for extra patrols. That's for the overtime patrols here in the village that we pay over and above. So we're trying to get them here more and more to patrol. So as the overtime gets posted on their board, they're able to bid on it, and hopefully they take advantage of that. I spoke with the sergeant, he was gonna stress it to them. Up till now, a lot of the overtime they were doing was the concerts at Batavia Downs and also at Darien Lake. So those are winding down now. So we should have even more availability for the extra patrols here. And I'm happy to say the restoration work on the Tully building here is being performed. It's ongoing. Reserva Stone, who specializes in restoration of historical buildings, is doing the work, and I'm very impressed with the work that I see them doing. So, DPW, they're going to be finishing up the park bathrooms. They've got a water fill station, fill bottle station that's got to be put up, and also the ledge rock, the cap around that needs to be done. And then we'll be done with the bathrooms. And we planning to install a catch basin on Hunter Street over by the chiropractors. A big pool of water there when it rains. I believe it's coming over the crown of the road, flooding that right-of-way area. So we fortunately have another catch basin down the street from there we can tie into. So we'll put a catch basin in and see if we can eliminate that situation. As Courtney said, we're busy pumping the tanks. We try to do about 170 of those a year, and moving right along. So we have not rehabbed any of the manholes yet to keep them, to seal them to prevent the infiltration. That hasn't started yet, and we're still awaiting the natural gas generator for the Gibson Place lift station. Electric side's been pretty busy. We provided mutual aid to Castile, and Spencerport has requested aid next week. And we will be requesting mutual aid for tree trimming in our village of all our power lines. That date's to be determined. Nick will be contacting all the munis around us for a big tree trimming day here. So I think we can get it done in one day, possibly 2 days. So that's where the mutual aid comes into effect, you know, and helps us out. You get a bunch of bucket trucks up in the air and you can get a lot of work done. So we'll be reaching out to all these other systems for mutual aid. The schoolhouse apartments, the electric is going to be shut off there. I made a mistake on this report. It's not October 17th, it's September 17th, which is this Sunday. For a service upgrade. The tenants in child care facility have been notified of the outage. A transformer was installed up at Hank Parker's new building in the industrial park. This building is being rented by National Grid for warehousing. PLM, our engineering firm who's overseeing our substation project, is preparing the bid specs for the equipment and labor for the substation project so that we get the bids in and see where we're at. And kind of on the electric side, I will be attending the MUA annual conference and the semi-annual NIMPA conference held in Clayton, New York. It's October 10th through 12th. So that's all I got. Courtney?
You all have my report in front of you. Just a few things. The new 550 came in. That's all set up for plowing for snow. So we feel like there's no reason to tear it all apart just for a month or two and put it back together. So we're just going to leave it together and not use it until it's time for snow. And then we'll just hold on to the old flight 550 until that time and put that up for sale. We also have the old cam trailer from the electric department to sell off. So it's on the agenda to declare as shows surplus. Besides that, additionally, we received $5,000 reimbursement from the county for the grant writer that they supplied. that came in yesterday.
Isn't it?
Yep, anybody got any questions about my report?
Okay. Gary has submitted a report as far as his, what he's overseen and inspected in front of you. Any questions on any of your reports?
Nope.
Not, I'll entertain a motion to accept.
I'll make a motion to accept the reports.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Trustee concerns, Michael?
No concerns, Mayor.
Todd?
None either. Things are going good.
Good. Okay, new business, Bergen Library presentation.
That would be us.
Ladies have the floor.
Thanks.
Welcome.
Thanks. Okay, I think all of you know me except maybe Michael. I'm Sally Caperso. I'm the current president of the board, the library board. Thanks to Courtney's wife. We won't go there. Give her my regards.
I will.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for allowing us to come. We are presently in the middle of going for something called the Municipal 414, and it's a way of having community-based library funding, and it's a way of keeping us sustainable. So what I did was I gave you kind of an overview of the way I'm going to be going through things, and that way you'll know, what's coming. Obviously, this is our library. Next, yeah. And there should be page markers, so to speak.
Yeah.
First, we'll talk
Want to
about.
have these guys come up front so they can see it?
Yeah, it's not bad. I got to leave, pretty soon, so
Okay.
I'm fine, thank you.
Welcome to come up and sit.
Yeah, you're welcome to sit up front and we can see.
Courtney and I were talking about that. It's just a very difficult spot,
Yeah.
There you go. We don't charge extra for front row seating. Okay, we're going to tell you about the library and what Municipal 414 is, why we're doing it, the impact on taxpayers, and the vote and the implications of the vote. So our library is more than just books. It's an integral part of the community since 1811.
Wow.
Yeah, that's quite a while. And that was when it was the Bergen Reading Room. Some of you probably weren't around in 1811, but you can remember maybe when it was the Bergen Reading Room. It was chartered by New York State as a Byron Bergen Public Library in 1985. So we've been working under that charter. It is through New York State, so it does have certain parameters that we have to live by. We have a lot of free resources of programming. There's free streaming. You can instantly borrow books, ebooks, audiobooks, comics, music, movies, and TV, and of course you can go in and borrow those things too. And Libby allows you to borrow free ebooks and audiobooks on your phone or tablet. And those of you, and that's most of us, always have our phone with us, so that's kind of a nice feature. So our library contributes to the sense of place for those who call Byron and Bergen home. A lot of people will just go in there to chat while they get a book, or they just like the idea, especially those who have younger kids, of going in. There's kind of a play area for them. So it really gives them a chance to get to know other parents with younger kids. It supports residents in ways that enhance real estate values. A lot of people, when they're looking for a place, like to know that there's a library there. And it encourages productive members of our communities. The library use is on the rise. Local organizations and neighbors meet, learn, grow, and develop new skills. One of the newest things is that, not yet, is that people are going there for book clubs. Yoga is the newest thing. For us older people, we have chair yoga, so we don't have to worry about, doing something to our bodies. But they have regular yoga too, and that's kind of been a biggie. But other organizations come there too. Girl Scouts has used the facilities over time. And a number of organizations also do. Now you can go. So this is what a municipal 414 library is. And just to preface this, it's a very unique proposition that we're doing. They're in the Niagara, Orleans, Genesee system, Neoga. There is only one other library that's a municipal 414, and that's in Wilson, New York. So there are a lot of things, even we are learning, the town clerks are learning along the way, but we have a lot of resources. We do have a lawyer who has specialized in municipal 414. And we also have the person who originated the municipal 414 kind of on call. I can email her or call her and she replies within a day. So she's helped quite a bit. So municipal 414 enables libraries of any type to put their budget up for a public vote held on election day to establish the municipal budget appropriation for the library. That's just the official terminology. Okay. This is why we chose this. At present, our library's annual budget relies on Byron and Bergen town taxes, and those are decided by the town boards. And we can submit a request of the amount that we want, and they decide whether they want to give us that amount or not. And you can see how that could be problematic, because we'll be doing a budget based on what we asked for, and then we will get usually less. We also rely on grants, donations, fundraising. Some of you might remember Bergen books. Courtney remembers it quite well, I'm sure, because it's a lot of work. It takes 2 to 3 months just to get it together. And then in terms of fundraising, well, if there's something else going on that day, people don't attend, and so we don't make as much as we could. This fundraising or donations or grants can't be used for basic operations. And in the past, that's been our reserve funds, and we really can't do that, and you'll find out a little bit more why later. According to the, back please.
Sorry.
According to the New York Library Association representative, Rebecca Smith-Aldrich, who's the person that we always ask information from, these are not gap fillers. In other words, we're not supposed to use them if we have a shortfall. Okay, now dear.
I can't see you, so.
Okay, I'll just tell you click then. The amounts received from all of these things, as you might guess, are often inconsistent, unpredictable, and they're not guaranteed. And this is the biggest reason. Our library has needed to tap into those reserve funds for 3 of the last 5 years. And the thing is, or longer. Nancy has told us that she's gone back and it's been 10 years. Not good. And our financial secretary says that these reserve funds could be used up in 2 or 3 years. We didn't want to wait 2 or 3 years. Okay. Most libraries in the Neoga system are school district public libraries, and they're organized to serve residents who live within the boundaries of a given school district. So the school district collects the taxes and then just funnels them over to the library. After 2 years, we started in about late 2020, early 2021, the Neoga executives found that this is not an option for the Bergen Public Library. Basically, it's because we have pockets of people in Monroe County. They're a different type of library system, so there was no way to mesh. Okay. Other libraries are something called special district libraries, and they go through a similar process to ours, where we were gathering signatures on petitions and going through all that. But that requires the signature of the governor. The Seymour Library in Brockport has tried this unsuccessfully. So they could go, those of you who may have seen us going door to door for signatures, they went through all of that, and for us, it took us at least a month of gathering. And they did that whole thing, and the governor, at the time it was Cuomo, would not sign it. So why do it? So we figured that we would rather count on the people of Byron and Bergen, you, to help us become self-sustaining and self-sufficient. Okay. These are the kind of a rough pie chart of what we use. As you can see, personnel costs are the most. We have to give raises because New York State says you have to give raises. Professional services, those would eventually, they would be things like bookkeeping, and we do a little of that through the town and that kind of thing. Building operations, we're pretty lucky with that because we rent from the town of Bergen, and they only charge us $100 a month for renting. But who's to say that's going to be forever either? And the rest are just odds and ends, things like telephone and fax machines, computers, all of those types of things. Okay. Our library needs a consistent, predictable budget that allows for better and effective planning, viable, sustained operations. We do hope to have expanded programming and resources, and we want to better meet the growing needs of our communities. We have a lot of homeschoolers, homeschool groups that go to the library to meet and to integrate with each other. And so, that is growing. We'd like to, be ready for it. Okay. So this is how it works. Those of you who remember possibly signing the petitions, that was the first step. We had to get around, we exceeded our expectations. We had to have total about 350 to 400 signatures between Bergen and Byron. And they were, Bergen had to have almost 200, Byron had to have 145 or something like that. So we had those. So the next step was we went to the town clerks. They officially recognized that we did our homework, and that they sent it now to the Board of Elections in the county, which would be Batavia. Our library is proposing a modest increase in the annual tax contribution, or 55 cents per thousand of assessed home value. And somebody came up with the idea, this would be about what you pay for a family of four to go to the movies without snacks. Now, believe it or not, we can save you some money. Next. So instead of going to the movies and paying $45 or $50, you can rent one from the library for free for 2 weeks. So the little guy who likes to watch the same movie over and over again can do it. And we found this little tidbit too. If you have a library card, and instead of buying your book, if you bought a new book a month. And if you read 2 a month, that could add up to $624 a year. But if you get them from the library, they're free. Okay. So the vote will be on Tuesday, November 7th, just along with all the other elections. I found out that we will be proposition number 3 on the ballot. The other ones are state ones that are coming up. And I'm sorry, I don't know what those are, but I did find out we'll be the 3rd one. Excuse me. So you'll have an opportunity to vote on that day. So this is what will happen. If it passes, we will have a consistent, predictable tax contribution. We'll be able to maintain what we have, and we hope to eliminate fines. We've been experimenting with that, doing that like 1 month at a time, and we found that more people are using the library if they don't have to pay the fines. We want to expand programming. We want to have a children's librarian so that she can take care of just the kids when they come in for story hour, do more servicing for them. We want to have more, obviously, up-to-date books, materials, and technology. And those of you who have computers, you know, it's, I would say, maybe I'm overthinking this, but at least every 5 years you need a new one. And this will be allowing us to plan better and to keep things going. If this fails, we still have to beg from the town boards for money. We might, because everything keeps going up, we have to pay more to our staff. We have to pay more for telephone and all the increments. So we might need to reduce some hours and programming. So that would be the short-term thing. I think the scariest thing is the long-term viability. If we're already in the red, so to speak, for 3 out of 5 years, what's it going to be like 2 or 3 years down the road? Okay. These are some patron testimonials. I use the free streaming service through Hoopla. I also love using Libby to read magazines on my iPad. So you wouldn't need to buy magazines. You could just come read them or put them right on your iPad. And this was from a little person. I love that there are activities such as scavenger hunts and bingo games and paper crafts to take home. This is not just books. There's toys, and that makes fair really fun. And finally, this was an adult. The Bergen Public Library is a celebration. It is Christmas, birthdays, and holidays all rolled into one. You never know what gifts and treasures you'll find on the pages, tapes, DVDs, and audiobooks. Okay. Finally, I don't know if it's Meta or Meta. Analysis of findings from 38 previous library return on investment studies, ROI, found that on average, the return value for public libraries is 4 to 5 times the amount invested. So please invest in our Bergen Public Library on November 7th. And these are the people. You probably know the library people, Cheryl, Sandy, Nancy Bailey, the manager, and Zoe. We're hoping Zoe will be working with the children. And the Board of Trustees, Robin behind there, Heather Kent, Gary DeWind, Bethany Gizzi, and Katie Rumble, myself, and Shirley Wade, the Vice President. Do you have questions? Thank you.
Yeah.
How is the overall support by Environ? Being that, you know, the library's here, is that,
Really well.
it's a short distance, I realize that, but,
Yeah.
you know, it is here, and
We were genuinely surprised because we were worried we were not going to get enough signatures on the petitions from the Bergen people, but they came through and they exceeded. And the people that were actually going door to door or asking their relatives and friends said that people didn't ask negative questions. They were more like, I want to support the library, yes. And signing the petition doesn't mean you're signing yes, it just means you want it to be on the ballot. So it was nice, a nice surprise.
Are any of your board members, when the town is doing the budget, do you attend those meetings
Oh, yeah.
for the budget?
We
And
make
so
a
what's the
presentation.
reason why there's that gap there? They're saying, they don't want to give you that extra money.
You'd have to ask them.
We're not really given a reason, it's just, okay, this is what you asked for, but this is what we're giving you. We're not given their rationale, we're not privy to that.
One of the things that spurred us on was in 2020, the infamous year, the county cut everything by 20%. That money was reinstated, but the only line item that did not receive the 20% was the library. So we were back, Nancy said we were back to something like, I don't know, do you remember what it was? It was a number of years, at least 10 years of where we used to be with our budget.
I think she said 2008, so we were functioning on a 2008 budget in 2021, 2020, 2022, and this year, which isn't sustainable.
Yeah, and we still haven't gotten their 20% back. And we haven't gone back to where we were before then.
So you've asked for 55 cents per thousand. How long is that, are you figuring that in for a number of years to carry you? Because once you exceed and say, hey, we need more now, you're gonna have to go back out for a vote again, aren't you?
Yes,
Mhm.
we'd have to
So-
do the signature process and everything. So we're hopeful that we don't have to do that for a number of years. I spoke to the person in Wilson, and I kind of had paid dirt with her. She happened to be the president of the board of the library at the time they did Municipal 414, and now she's the tax collector. So she said that, and they've done it like 15, 20 years ago, she said they've never had to increase it. So they've never had to go back out for the signatures. That's a lot of work, so we're hoping that, we're good.
Is there enough time frame? Say you get to that point though, and you have to go back out for a vote, and say it doesn't pass at that time, then what, it revert back to the town?
Yeah,
It's,
and so the way it's set up too,
No, if Municipal 414 passes, you're saying like in 5
say
years?
say
time?
10 years from now.
Yeah.
oh, okay.
No, it just reverts back to what we had as the baseline. So the amount that we're establishing this fall, if it's approved, would be our baseline.
Okay.
It'll always stay at 414?
Yes,
After that?
yes.
It never reverts back to town?
No. I guess I looked at your question a little bit differently. The way it's set up too is Bergen is one vote and Byron is another. So we could get one town to say yes and the other not to. So then we're back to, I don't know, and we thought very hard about the amount and how we were going to do it. There were a number of different things. Were we going to ask more from Bergen, less from Byron? We've decided the same amount across the board because that seemed the fairest, that everybody would be paying the same amount.
Based on tax assessed value.
Right,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah.
55 cents as opposed to, them paying 25 and us paying 60, that kind of thing. We want the same. Any others?
Great presentation, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Yep.
It's been 3 years in the making.
And we tweak it all the time.
Yep.
You can see, put a lot of time in the
Yeah,
presentation.
good luck, for sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you much.
Thank you.
If you don't want these, I know, Joe, you've been writing on yours. I'll take it back because they're recycled.
There you go.
See, we're
Thank you very
saving
much.
you 5 cents. Thanks.
All right. Move on to number 2 of the new business, Resolution 8, which is a seeker for the electric substation. If you read, you can see it, we're going to have very little impact with this project. 90+%, 95% probably is contained within the fences of our current substations. I know we probably would have to put one pole outside of our existing station, which will house a new switch. Because the switch that's in the substation now, we're afraid to open, it's from the 1950s. And we would have a new switch installed there, and I'm hoping that's where the interconnection agreement point will be. So we need a motion to accept this seeker.
I'll make a motion to accept the seeker.
And I will second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, very good. Next is a delegate to the MUA annual meeting. If you look at this, it says semi-annual, I do believe. That came from the MUA, but it's actually the annual meeting for the MUA, and it's going to be the semi-annual for the NIMPA.
Do you need to redo that, or?
You can pass it with.
Yeah, with this change.
I'll make a motion for the delegate resolution.
Okay, with these change
With
noted.
the change. Yeah, dates.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And thank you for doing that, Joe.
Which means you'll be the mayor, this sheet when I'm there, because it falls on a Wednesday.
You got it.
So,
No budget topics then.
no. The next is a post-issuance tax compliance. Get a chance to read it over. It's kind of self-explanatory. System of checks and balances. Resolution 10 of 2023.
I had a chance to review it prior to the meeting, so I feel fine with it. Yes, we carry out, or you need a moment, or?
Yes,
Basically, with the IRS, we have to, they just want to see that we're compliant with all the rules, and then we have policies and procedures in place. And this is something we've done previously, they'd like to see it updated.
Do we have someone who's actually designated as the compliance officer?
Yes, so I'm a compliance officer here, but we have Hodgson Russ and John O'Dixie, who that's basically, that's what they do, to make sure we're always in compliance with all the bonds and the bans that we take out, and then we're filing all the correct paperwork. Make sure that these things are updated.
So this is something that happens every year, right?
Not necessarily every year, but every few years.
Okay.
Part of the reason why we're doing it now is because we're going to go out for long-term financing for the sewer project within the next probably year. So they're starting to lead up to that. We're going to ducks in a row. The project is coming to a close.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to accept this resolution, number 10 of 2023.
I'll make a motion to accept resolution 10 of 2023.
All those in favor, is there a second?
I will second
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And I'm assuming we're aye on all these, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Aye.
No opposed.
Because we
Need the
need only
form.
three, so we need a third.
The next is resolution number 11, 2023. It's a delegate to the NIMPA semi-annual. And I would be the delegate there. It's on October 12th. So it's the final day of the MUA annual conference, and they put this together, so while we're there, we can, have both meetings, so I would be the delegate, so if there's any discussion, not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll motion for passing resolution 11 of 2023.
Is there a second?
I will second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Carried. Okay, the next thing is designation of surplus. As Courtney spoke earlier, we did get the new 550 in, it's all set up for the winter. It's got the new Salter on it, it's got the new plow, so we're in good shape for this winter. With that, we can designate as surplus the 2016 Ford F-550, put it on the auction block, and we go through Auctions International, who we've had a lot of success with. And also there's a 2011 Skyline cam trailer. This is a trailer that, it was a nice trailer, but it wouldn't handle carrying our heavier equipment, such as the loader and the mini excavator, things like that. I mean, there was a time when we were driving our front end loader all the way to Batavia, get to Cat dealer in Batavia. So now we have a trailer that's heavy enough.
We replaced that one already?
Yes, we've got a new one in-house now.
Okay.
And it's able to carry the extra weight, so we can carry anything that we now own, wherever we gotta take it. So-
This is more like a landscape type trailer, or?
No, this is heavier duty too, but it's not, it wasn't heavy enough to carry that, the loader, the main one.
You need a full-size dump truck type of thing
Mhm.
to haul it.
Yeah,
So the bucket truck or digger derrick,
yeah. Or the
Western Star.
Western Star truck, you know, but yeah, the 550s won't, it's too much for them to. So that also would go to Auctions International for the auction. And
Do you need a motion?
yes,
I'll make a motion for the designation of surplus, the 2016 F.
Can we do them each separate?
Yep, F-550.
or second
I'll
to,
second.
for the F-550. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Are you gonna hold off until you're done with like the leaf season to
Yeah.
put that on Auctions International?
Yeah.
Since the other one is already set up for snow plowing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, there's a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the other items, a 2011 Skyline cam trailer.
I'll make a motion for designation of surplus of the Skyline cam trailer.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Privilege of the floor. Anything? No?
Just thank you for allowing Sally and I to be here tonight.
No, it's a nice presentation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else before I proceed to close? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to close.
Motion to close?
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.